Hey YouTube, so I want to make this video about Postmates. I'm gonna keep it clear, cut, unedited, and simple. I don't want to get all fancy with this because it's really it's the words that matter, and I'm gonna get straight into it. So yeah, if you're doing Postmates, you gotta make sure your vehicle is on point or equipped to do the job. If you have a new car, you're good because you don't have a lot of miles. And honestly, I don't know, like I don't feel like I'm racking up a lot of miles too. If your car has fuel economy, use that. Because your car is an investment and it's a depreciating asset. So, you don't have to be flying all around the city trying to get people their orders. And this is actually gonna probably contradict something else that I'm gonna bring up. But the first things first is knowing what type of vehicle you're gonna use. I think if your vehicle is older, you gotta just have to play it by ear. Like low key, if you have an older vehicle, I'm gonna keep it straight with you. Cause I had an older car when I moved out here to California. It was a 1999 Toyota Corolla. I bought it for $1,000 in college. But if I was doing Postmates with that car, at most I would probably only make like $20 or $30 a night if I had it. It had like 250,000 plus miles. But yeah, I would probably only be able to make like probably $20 or $30 when I think about it, because of, the distance that you usually do drive. And when it comes to your car, you got to make sure your maintenance and stuff is in order. And that's kind of tough when you're someone that's, you kind of need money. And it's just like any kind of business, because it's basically a business, because you're your own boss. You just go, you pick up the food, and you have to, keep track of your orders and get to people in a timely manner. Yeah, that matters. So obviously you're gonna have to pay for gas. It matters. You can't like exclude those things, and that all adds up. I would say for me, like in a Postmates run for me, like within a day, I will probably put towards $10 in my tank. 30 fills up the whole thing, but usually I put 10 in when I'm doing Postmates, and then I make it back in 2 orders, sometimes 1 if I get a good tip. And that's going into the second thing, is the tips. That is basically what you want to look for. But I personally, because this is where it gets tricky. If you're trying to reach incentives, then the tips they matter because obviously it's money in your pocket. But like if you're trying to reach an incentive, but yet you get a $20 tip, and you're typically not going to get $20 tips. It's just, that's the highest one I got when I tried to do an incentive. And I'm going to roll right into the incentives after this. But yeah, obviously you want the tips. It sucks. If you really do care about the tips, stay away from the fast food. Usually if someone's ordering from Jack in the Box or McDonald's, they're probably not going to tip you. And if they do, usually from what I see, it's about $2. But let's be honest, if someone's spending about $10 at, Jack in the Box, then they're probably not going to give you a $10 tip. Like, I don't know, it's kind of like common sense in that aspect. So if you want to rely on tips, there's functions in Postmates that you can do to where you can adjust, like if you adjust like your vehicle to motorcycle or something. So this is a little trick I learned. Yeah, if you adjust your vehicle to motorcycle or stuff, you can like see the order on the screen before you accept it, stuff like that. But I don't know, I think they probably changed that, because I feel like that I could always see what was being ordered before I clicked accept. But I just put it to motorcycle anyway, because this is where we're going to get into the incentives. Because if you want to reach the incentives, and I'm going to give you the bad part of the incentives, but we're going to start with the good part. If you want to reach the incentives, you have to be kind of fast. You have to be fast, depending on what it is. If you get the typical one, you're guaranteed $210 for 50 deliveries. That usually happens every Friday, Saturday, and it ends Sunday. But usually in basically every other day, there's from like 10:30 to 1, and then there's from like 4:30 to 9:30, and usually it ranges from about 6 to 10 or 12 deliveries for each one that you have to do like within a day. In the morning, it's usually about from 7 to 10 sometimes, or it could be 9, but the lowest I've seen is 6. And then for deliveries in the evening from 4:30 to 9:30 p.m., it usually ranges from about 10 or so. Sometimes it can be like 7 or 8. I don't know. It's up to them on how they determine it, but usually you aren't going to hit that incentive, especially I think in California. I mean, I think in California it's probably the easiest to hit the incentive, that or probably another high volume city like New York or Florida. Not city, but like, so Miami, that's that's what I meant to say. But you're usually not going to hit the incentive because my theory is that there's so many people doing it. It is that easy to get into, so therefore there's not as much as an abundance for orders as vice versa to drivers. There's more drivers than there are people ordering. That's what I believe. If not, change my mind in the comments. But you're not going to hit the incentives. If you do have to be fast. You can usually hit the one where you have to do 50 within 3 days. I've done it, and then that's where we're going to transition into the bad, because be careful if that's what you really care about, because I did the 50 deliveries within 3 days just to understand the platform, to see. And like, I was booking it. Like, I was like tired. Like I stayed up to like 3 a.m. and that's another tip. If you want to hit those type of incentives where you have to do within like 50 deliveries within 3 days, do the fast food, because it's quick, it's simple, and you get it out the way. You're not going to get tipped much, but if your goal is to reach the incentive and then get that guaranteed, or at least the guaranteed amount, then it'll get you closer there. That's what I noticed. Because fast food's the easiest. You just go there, boom, you're out. And it's kind of okay if it takes you a little longer to get the food, because you get paid for the time that you're waiting. And that brings us back to not really wanting to fly around the city, because you do get paid for that time. There was one time where I was at this chicken place. It's called like Cane's or something. And I don't know. I was like waiting. I don't know. I was there for like 10 minutes. And when I finally dropped off the food, the order, like I got like $11. I don't know. I was probably there for like 20 minutes probably. But I got like $11 just, and a lot of that was multiplied just off of my wait time. I wasn't trying to wait, but I just ended up having to wait. And that's probably one of the good things about Postmates, is that you're not necessarily blamed for anything that goes on within a restaurant, because there's no rating system. So I think that's another good thing. It's a good thing. But yeah, if you want to reach the incentives, I would definitely recommend fast food. If you want to focus on tips, stay away from the fast food, and be careful, because if you do hit these incentives, I think a lot of people, especially if you're new to the game, if you think that you're going to get $210 for doing 50, then you are mistaken. They are going to basically give you a guaranteed adjustment, and then that's somehow how the tips can hurt you. Because if you, let's say you do 50 deliveries, and then let's say you just had an average of like $5 or $10 tips, when you get that guaranteed adjustment because of the tips and stuff, then, like when I did it, and did the 50, I did make over $200+ like within those 3 days, but the guaranteed adjustment I got for hitting the incentive, it was like $14. And I was like, how? I was like, that's crazy. So, but it makes sense. You have to actually read the fine print. It makes sense. And it makes sense too, because it's an incentive. It's to get you to want to go out there and deliver for people and give them their food. But yeah, if you do 50 deliveries thinking that they're gonna be like, here's $200+ on top of everything you made, you're quite mistaken. So remember that. Other than that, it really doesn't get that deep. You can go into the little nuances. The other thing that really matters, I guess, that can be a tip, is obviously customer service. I don't see why you wouldn't want to be nice to the people that you're delivering their food, especially if they have the ability to tip you and give you more money. You can go on some subreddits, you can read around. I would definitely, just do your research. One of the things that I added to my repertoire when I started was, making sure that the customer gets the receipt in their bag. And, when you I don't know. I don't know if I've seen like a big boost from it, because I'm not like that deep into to it, but I'm like, oh, I can add the receipt. I can go out of my way and make sure they have their receipt in their bag. But the customer service goes a long way. If you're nice, then you're probably more likely to get a tip. I'm not saying you're going to get a tip just because you're nice to someone, you know, and I mean, heck, half the time, you know, people really, they don't even want to look you in your eye, to be honest. People are like, oh, yeah, okay, thanks. And you're like, and I'm like, what are you looking at? But that doesn't matter. If anything, I feel like that's personal. Yeah. Customer service really matters. Other than that, it really doesn't get that deep. The key things is your car and understanding your plan of action of how you want to make the money on Postmates and customer service. That's really it. It doesn't get that deep. It's crazy that this took me about probably 11 minutes to discuss, but I mean, it's the truth. I watched a few videos and, you know, I don't know, some people, I mean, everyone has their stories, but I'm just giving you my story. I'm in California, so this is, like my whole screen is a hotspot right now on Postmates. Like I'm going to turn on my phone right now. Basically I've given you all of the tips. That's everything I've said is what you need. If you need to click off the video right now, then by all means you can, but I just want to do one more thing before I shut all this off. And my phone's malfunctioning. That's probably the last one. Make sure you got a good phone. I've just been, I guess, because I'm new to the ride sharing game, like I use an Obama phone for ride sharing. I'm recording on my iPhone 11, but as far as service and a reliable connection and everything, because I bought my iPhone in full, but as far, actually, I didn't buy it. It was a birthday present. Yeah, so I didn't buy it. I'm not gonna lie to you, but yeah, the Obama phone, it just has a reliable connection, but I am gonna be switching this over, trying to work with the SIM card and just get it into my phone because it's unlocked. I don't need a special service or carrier or anything, but the phone matters, because if you want to add ride sharing into your revenue stream, then what I'm noticing when I speak to people, I like to talk to people, and usually if you see people with the Uber stickers or all that stuff on, you know, like it's a real thing out here. Some people really do this full time. I couldn't do this full time. If I did do it full time, I would be a walking zombie. My car would probably start having some issues. I mean, it's probably not though. It's still new. It's like, I mean, I got it when it was 6,000 miles. I'm like at 14 now, and that's, you know, I drive to work. Obviously I live my life, but yeah, if you want to add this into your stream, this is kind of like a side note, because you can do multiple ride sharing services. And what I hear is that DoorDash is probably a second, or Uber Eats. Those are probably tied for second. I think Postmates is the easiest to get into because there's not so much for cost of entry. You just have to do the background, like it tells you, it walks you through it, but it's so easy to start it. And another reason why I think your phone matters is because my Obama phone doesn't have enough storage to run multiple ride sharing apps, and I'm gonna fix it soon. It just hasn't been that, it hasn't really been that like pressing for me to hop on. But I think I should, because I mean, why would I hold my own self back from making money? Yeah, that doesn't make sense. So yeah, if you make sure you have a good phone. If you have an iPhone or any current like Galaxy or Android, anything HTC and stuff, you're good. Obviously make sure, I mean, you can do like 5 deliveries, you can pay your phone bill, you know, like like it's that simple. But yeah, that's the key. That's really all I got though. So if you felt like this video was helpful for you, you can like it, you can share it. You can let me know if you actually do ride sharing, or if you're thinking about it. Just hey, let me know what you think or feel in the comment section. If there is more that needs to be elaborated on, I really don't think there is much to be elaborated on, but I mean, heck, if you really need the information, then I mean, I do it just about every day. Sometimes not every day, because, you know, usually, I mean, especially if I go to the gym in the afternoon, I am beat. But so I'll probably only get like 2 or 3 hours in some days. But on a day like today when I'm off all day long, I do it. And I would love to add things like Lyft or other things, but I have a new car. I'm not that fond of people in the back seat of my car. I don't know, because some people are crazy. They can just, I don't know, I don't want my car to get dirty. Like, I care about that. But yeah, but that's not serious. That's not the point of the video. So yeah, like, comment, share, subscribe. I got more videos coming out for the people that, you know, are legitimate fans, just keep watching. We're still grinding, and I will catch you on the next one. Make sure you have a good day.
Points, I got aching joints. Ever since I was a kid, I had to make a point. I had to rip a crowd, I had to make my vows to this thing that made me who I am and held me down. Shout out Kyler Holmes, you made this house a home. Remember wishing there was way more to us than poems, but that was back then. I'm 22 now, I got other avenues to get me